What's up, YouTube? It's the Console Samurai. Last week I picked up Final Fantasy Type-0 with the package Final Fantasy 15 demo, and I just kind of want to share my thoughts about them. Final Fantasy Type-0, like I said, it came packaged with the Final Fantasy 15 demo, and that was actually a factor in why I decided to pre-order it and buy it. To be honest, I am not disappointed that I bought that game, because even though it's not what I'm usually familiar with a Final Fantasy game, I knew it wasn't going to be like some of the older games. I knew it wasn't going to be like Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, 7, any of those. I knew it was going to be an action RPG, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The battle system in this is kind of more like Kingdom Hearts or Devil May Cry or something like that, which absolutely, those are great franchises. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the battles are actually more fun than I thought they'd be. Because I figured it would be more of a hack and slash kind of thing. You know, you run in, there's a bunch of enemies, but that's not what it is. The first few battles, tutorial, they take a little time to get used to, but once you actually get into the story, once you're actually able to free roam, and they have brought that back. They have brought back the world map, which I'm very, very happy about, because that was one thing that I really missed from Final Fantasy. Well, pretty much from 10 on, they've done away with the world map, especially in 13, where you were not able to explore at all. But in Type-0, you can explore. Between every mission, you have a little bit of time. You can go wander. You can go into the world map and investigate this, investigate that. I haven't really gotten too far into that because I am still somewhat early in the game, and I'm a low level, so I know I'll get my ass handed to me. But when you do get into a battle, because they've also brought back random encounters, you're in a wide geographic region. You know, all the enemies aren't fought on the same thing. It's all within a small area that's contained for the battle. And the geographic regions come into play, or the topology of the area you fight, I mean, comes into play, which is the first time since, I believe, Tactics that this has actually come into play. Because enemies can hide in the grass. They can hide behind like a hill or a rock or something like that. And it's kind of cool because you have to go get them. And after each battle, you actually have the option to continue and fight their reinforcements, or you can retreat. And you get you get class 0 all at once. You get all 14 characters all at once right at the beginning, or very nearly the beginning of the game. It's shortly after the beginning, and you know they all have different abilities. They have different weapons, different skills, different magic. Some have cure, some don't. It's interesting because you can pick whichever character you want to be your main character, and you can just roll with that character. Lately, actually, I've been playing a lot of Scythe because she's pretty badass with the scythe. So if you're just starting out the game, give Scythe a shot because I like her. But but it's interesting because you can explore again. They brought that back, and that's all between missions. Now there are other little side quests you can do right from the beginning. They're very short sometimes. You know, you go out and you fight this number of monsters, or you go get this person, or you do this or do that. Right from pretty much the beginning of the game, you can start with side quests. Chocobos are back, you can breed them, and so on and so forth. But I'm genuinely having a good time with this game. It's actually a fun game. Um, as I said, I'm still fairly early, so the story I haven't really gotten into, but the story does seem interesting. There's some things that are like, what's going on here? You know? Which I like. I like that in a Final Fantasy game. I don't want it to be obvious, you know, like, oh, I know this is gonna happen. I don't like that. I like the idea that, you know, I don't really know what's going on. I think, you know, I might have a theory about this or a theory about that, but really, I'm not sure what's going on, and I like the surprises. And there are definitely some surprises brewing, I think, in the very near future, not even the end of the game. But so Final Fantasy Type-0 really is a very good game. And there is, if you liked Final Fantasy Tactics, I did actually participate in an RTS battle in that game as well, where you have to take over a small little area, and then all the troops in that area, you dispatch them to another area, and you have to do it that way. It's kind of RTS, kind of not like Tactics, actually. It's more like, say, Command and Conquer or something like that. But definitely, it's a very interesting game. And as I said, it came packaged with the Final Fantasy 15 demo, which I live streamed last Friday, and it was actually one of the first games I've live streamed. It was kind of interesting. It's actually it's not a bad game. It is a demo, so of course everything that I'm gonna say is still a work in progress. Um, the battle systems are very fun. They are fun. It's it's enjoyable to run around. The world itself is amazing. I mean, it's actually really cool to see the cycle between day and night, and as the night comes, you can look up to the sky and you can see a very, very well done sky that it looks amazing. It looks almost real. I really enjoy that. The characters, they look good. You know, the interesting thing is the battles. It's actually the battle system is one of the good things and one of the bad things. The battle system is fun, without a doubt. The downside to the battle system is in battle the camera is kind of a little bit weird. It's too close. It really does need to be a little bit further away from you. I don't know if maybe with it still being work in progress, maybe they can make that an option. You can either pull out like you can in a lot of you can pull the camera out like you can in a lot of games, or maybe you can set it to like different preset distances. Maybe I don't know. It's a work in progress. Square, maybe you can add that. Another interesting idea of the battle system is this ability to warp around, which comes into play during a pretty significant battle with Behemoth, who, to be honest, I still have not killed. He's pissing me off to no end. But um, you warp around the arena, and it's kind of cool because you warp away from him with just before he's going to attack you, and you warp in, you attack him, you warp out. It's kind of cool. Um, but again, this is all just a work in progress. So I don't know how that's actually going to develop. And the battles are actually kind of fun because they are again they're an action RPG. They're like Kingdom Hearts, Devil May Cry, any of those. And again, while I would have preferred to it going back to a turn-based RPG, I am okay with it being an action RPG. It's fun. I still would prefer turn-based because that's what I'm familiar with. That's what I grew up with. Those are the games that I fell in love with originally, and you know, but the battles in both games are really fun. The issue with Final Fantasy 15 I have is you can't control other characters. Unlike in all the other games, you can try them out a little bit. You can't, and maybe because it's the demo, maybe in the final version, you will be able to try out the characters because I want to know how other people play. I want to know how, what are their names? You have Noctis, you have Gladiolus. I can't remember the other two guys. I want to know how they play. I want to know how. I want to get a first-hand experience of fighting as them, or at least the ability to control them. Because there were times where I was getting my ass handed to me in a battle, and they're just standing over to the side because they're not participating in the battle, and I don't know how to make them participate in that battle. Um, there were a couple times they got killed because they were just standing around looking at the scenery, which really, I think that's something that needs to be fixed. They either need to be controllable, or they need to be able to receive commands, or they need better AI, something, because that's a definite problem. I heard a lot of people complaining about frame rate. I did not have any frame rate issues, but that could just be because I didn't get as far as them, maybe, or maybe I just got lucky. I'm not sure. But either way, both of these games are actually really fun. So if and unfortunately, I hate that I'm going to say it this way. Neither of these games is Final Fantasy 13. It seems like they've learned from their mistakes of Final Fantasy 13. Both games have a really good open world feel to them. Final Fantasy 15 being more of an open world, it feels like you're actually part of the world. You have this landscape that you can see, and you know that you could run to it. I mean, you're limited because it's just a demo, but you know that you could run all the way to that end. And that was something that was really missing from Final Fantasy 13. It was so linear. There was no world map. There was no real place to explore. Final Fantasy 15 is loaded with places to explore. Final Fantasy Type-0 has a world map and seems to be loaded with places to explore too. So while when I say this game is not Final Fantasy 13, or either of these games are not Final Fantasy 13, I mean they've done away with the linear thing. They've done away. Okay, the voice acting I do want to come back to. The voice acting is absolutely horrendous in Type-0. So you may want to switch back over to the Japanese audio. I heard a couple people say that, and I'm definitely going to try that because, damn, that's bad. But once again, both of these games really are a lot of fun. So if you're even thinking about these a little bit and you love Final Fantasy, definitely pick these up because they are they're really good Final Fantasy games. They seem to have learned what they've done wrong from Final Fantasy 13 and they're making it back up. I do look forward to seeing what Final Fantasy 15 becomes because again, it is just work in progress. I don't know what they'll add. I don't know what they'll take out. We'll have to see. But either way, let me know if you've played either of these games. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Once again, I am the Console Samurai, and I'll see you around.